one who is hitting the grass. In normal gallery, I think that is Tumuini's church. Everything is quiet. So giving a coup de grace, to people are dying. still have be having within his system, his blood, the soldiers, the body soldiers who defend the body against infections. Then we shall be able to know that so and so got infected, overcame the sickness, who were his contacts, did they get sick? They can also be checked. It will help us to refusing to shake the hands of the Archbishop with all the blessings he had brought from London for me. And I say, thank you very much. Passes them through, God will bring them direct. Telling the Basiram, you know the Basiram pray 5 times a day. In the mosque, they're always going to the mosque, pray. Say, please don't go to the mosque at all, not even one time. My mother, the late Esther, used to go to the church on Wednesday, Kungana, on Friday, Kungana, on Sunday, first round with us, with the ordinary Christians. Then second round with Habarokore, then Sunday school. Because sometimes when I try to get Archbishop Cyprian Rwanga, His Grace, or Archbishop Wakienga in the morning, they are in the mass. You must ring some other time. Of you people say, please, all these have been our culture, our practice, our way of life, but now stop. Stop all this. These are very big decisions, and I really thank you that you agreed and you cooperated. And I remember when I met His Grace, he suggested, no, you give us one more time to see where Abasiramu. Tell them that from now on, this will, I said, please, no, it is from today. Because if you meet them, say goodbye to them, what if 20 people are infected there? Because we don't know where the enemy is now. So stop now. All these were very radical measures, but they were calculated measures. They were calculated because I knew these are measures which could inconvenience us, which could cause us. We will survive. We will survive. And survive and be safe. Survive safely. Now, one of the survival things were the three pillars. Number one, farming will continue. Discos will close, while the bars will close, while the airport will close, the tourists will not come, but farming will continue. Why will it continue? Because the farmers are not concentrated. In fact, this virus is also stupid. You know that we are cleverer than it. Because it is attacking people who are concentrated and forgetting that there are others who are not concentrated and who are very useful. These are the farmers. So we said, as part of our planned war, this is a planned war. It's not an emotional war. It is not a suicidal war. It's not a kamikaze where you say, I go and I die, but I also kill the enemy. No. We shall kill the enemy and survive. This is not a kamikaze. Kamikaze were the Japanese pilots who would go and crash into enemy ships, blow them up, but they also die. No. This is not Al-Shabaab. We are not suicide bombers. We are calculative fighters. We say we shall be injured in tourism. Tourism shall suffer loss. We shall suffer a loss in retail business. We shall suffer loss in hotels. We shall suffer loss in this area, but here we shall survive. Survive and even grow. Not only survive, but even grow in agriculture. So that is number one. Agriculture will, can, and should continue because it is not easily susceptible to the spread of this virus. Why? Because farmers farm in a decentralized way, in a scattered way. You find a person with his home, his family. These are the ones who produce food for us. Secondly, you remember we said the factories should continue provided they can bring their workers and camp them near the factory, either all of them or some of them. So the factories don't have to close. The only problem to sort out for the factories is to stop this going home and coming back. But if they can camp, they should continue. Then the essential services should continue. The hospitals, the electricity generation, the water, the utilities, the telephones should continue. Why? Because here the numbers are not so big, and people can organize. Construction sites, we said the construction sites should also continue, provided you camp near the sites. Then we said the food markets. You remember we said let the non-food markets close, but the food markets should remain open, provided the food sellers stay in the market. And they did it. You know, you people, you have never seen Ugandans fighting in many wars, and I know that there are people who can fight because there are people who are dedicated. So therefore, but one of the crucial things that had to continue was cargo. Cargo had to continue. Cargo. Emigugu. Cargo, this is, would you say Emigugu? Mm-hmm. The cargo had to continue. Cargo within the country and cargo between us and the neighbors had to continue. It's part of the planned survival core system. And that's what has made us survive. Because you can see electricity is on. It was only interfered briefly by the other floating island. Water is flowing. Telephones are working. Security is even better than before. All crime has stopped. So this is a planned war. It is not an emotional war. It's not a suicidal war. Now, to interfere with cargo is suicidal. So, first of all, cargo by plane is easy because a plane is flown by 2 pilots, maybe 2 engineers, They come and land it at Entebbe Airport. These are accommodated in those hotels. We don't even hear about them. And they can be tested, they can be checked, they can be confined. The cargo pilots, the planes. The train, Egari Yomuka. It must be one or two. I don't know whether they have an engineer. That huge thing is moved by very, very few people. So therefore the train is the best to move around cargo with minimum numbers, which are easy to check, and they stop in a few places. They don't stop anywhere, they just stop, you know where they stop, Iganga, Busembatia. The ships on the water, cargo ships, they are not passenger ships, the cargo ships. Again, they are operated by a few people, the engineers and the drivers. Now, these are the best way of how to transport cargo and do it safely with minimum risk to the population, especially now that we have this pandemic. But unfortunately, and indeed, this is what the NRM stood for. Those who are old enough remember the problem we had a little bit with some of our neighbors when we took over government, and we insisted that coffee, which was that time being exported by the government, should only be exported through the train, not the vehicles. And that's what caused the collapse of a company called Natio, a Kenyan company which used to carry the Ugandan coffee. It collapsed. But because of the confusion in the economics of the world, some people came and brought this idea of partially privatizing the Uganda Railways and the Kenya Railways. I don't know whether they went ahead with the Tanzanian Airways. And because of that, the train sort of went down a bit. It is still there, and we are now reviving it. And once it is fully revived, all cargo will shift from vehicles to the train and to the ships, including oil. And we are working on that. We have some locomotives. We are going to buy, locomotives are the engines which pull the trains. We are going to buy spare parts for them. There is another two which are down, which we are going to refurbish. And very soon the railway will be working properly, the old railway. We had also discussed with the European Union about repairing the line up to Pakwach, maybe even up to Kasese, the old line, as we continue discussing with the Chinese about the new railway. But until the train is fully operational, I would appeal to the Ugandans to swallow your anger, Osungu, swallow your anger, and remember Amagezi. Swallow the Usungu and employ the Magezi. Stopping cargo is suicidal, but also unnecessary. Even the one by the lorries which are driven by these fellows who are importing the corona when we have almost cleared it inside the country. I said, if we stop now, how will our coffee move? If the coffee doesn't move, then why should the farmers farm? Why should they farm when the coffee is not going to where it's supposed to be? How about the sim? How about the milk? How about the cement from the factories? How about the mtaimba? How about the food? The sugar. Like for instance, quite a number Kenyans are buying a lot of sugar from here. Tanzania, the other day, I was with His Excellency Magufuli's envoy for sugar. How will the sugar move? How will the maize move? How about our own things which we need? Because I will come to the economy, but we are importing a lot of in order to produce our own masks. Because you have seen now, I like this virus in a way, because it has woken us up. Because when the virus came and people started dying in Europe, some of the leaders didn't even hide. They said, the natural medicine which is there, we shall keep it for our people. Oh, for your people, how about us? Say, you die, it's not our problem. Oh, thank you very much. You have told us that good. Very good. So I'm really taking that very seriously. But in order to do that, our machines, which we are diagnostic tests to make this, to make it is absolutely suicidal to attack cargo, including this bad one of the lorries. There's no problem with the train. There's no problem with the ship. There's no problem with the plane. But the cargo, to see how to manage him, but only eliminate him when the trains are ready, and the ships are ready, and the cargo planes are ready. That's when we shall say, please, go away, but not now. But secondly, my point is also that it's not necessary, because this driver, we are now going we are now saying only one driver, no longer three. It is only one, because it has come out that one driver is enough and even safer. Secondly, he must that time the NLM was saying, but this time I'm telling you, tokwata ku driver, ate driver takukwata ko. Simple. It is simple. It's not really. It is more or less like AIDS. You know, when we had AIDS, People are saying that, oh, when you say we have AIDS in Uganda, tourists will fear coming. Why should they fear? AIDS will not catch you if you come as a tourist to look at the animals. You come and look at the animals. Don't divert to go to other activities. AIDS will not get you. So, these truck people can come and they go wherever they are going, and we don't mix with them. So therefore, the Minister of Transport is going to really very strictly designate where they can stop, and they don't have to be a problem. So we don't have to commit the suicide of prematurely stopping the cargo before the train and the ships and the planes have become fully operational to replace the lorries. Besides, there are parts of Africa where there's no railway now. Congo, there's no railway. Within Kenya, within Uganda, within Tanzania, the railway system is there. It can be revived. But Congo, there's no railway. And Congo is one of those are our people. We cannot say you die. Because they depend on us, but we also depend on them. The products we are producing here are consumed by them. The factories are supported by them. The farms are supported by their purchasing. So there is no railway going into Congo. There is no railway going in South Sudan. There is no railway going into Rwanda. So therefore, even when the road is full operational, they can be tested two times a month, so that you have seen me. I am actually operating a mobile quarantine. You see, when people talk of quarantine, they only imagine stationary quarantine where you are in one place. But you have seen me during this time of the coronavirus. I have gone to Karamoja. I went to Karamoja to commission a marbles factory. I went to Nakasongora to commission a firefighting vehicle. which we have built there. The other day I was in Jinja. You see me once every 2 days or so going to Entebbe and coming back. So I move, but in a quarantined way. Why? The people, when we started the quarantine, only a number of staff were selected. There are 6 cooks in State House. This is just an example. Only 3 will be on duty continuously, and they will not go back home to their families. The drivers, the same. The security people, the same. So although I move with these same people. Unlike in the past when they would just take turns. This one works today, goes home, another one comes to replace. So those truck drivers can have a mobile quarantine. They are moving, but in a quarantined way. And the driver isn't quarantined because he's in a vehicle. Tava motoka ye, except where he is going to rest, and then you control there also. And so it is possible to quarantine this group. They are moving, but they are moving in a controlled way. And that's what we mean by quarantining. Quarantining doesn't mean that you stay in one place. It means that whether you are moving or stationary, your movement is controlled and contained. So therefore, while stopping passengers, like we did when we said passengers don't travel, it caused a lot of inconvenience. It caused a lot of losses, business-wise, but it was not suicidal. It was not suicidal. It is survivable. Now, on the side of the economy, I really don't agree with the people I see on the TV predicting doom, saying the economy is, I don't agree with those. Yes, some of the sectors have been hit badly. Tourism has been hit. Hotels, retail, entertainment, but manufacturing can go up. Manufacturing can go up. You have already seen the issue of the sanitizers. I haven't got the figures, but from the demand, I don't think this is a small demand, because people who never washed are now washing their hands, and they are not only washing, they are washing many times. So what is the growth there? Soap, what is happening there? Globally, somebody pointed out that the drinking of coffee has gone up. Actually, the price of coffee has gone up a bit globally, because when people stay at home, they drink more coffee. I was discussing with the Minister Ramirama today, and we were talking about the challenges of the poultry farmers. The poultry farmers are not selling the eggs, nor are they selling the meat. Why? Because the hotels are not working. Why are the hotels not working? Because the tourists are not coming. and the socializers are not socializing in the hotels. Okay, this is bad. So I said, but don't they eat chicken at home? They said, no, at home they eat chicken, but they don't eat as much as when they are together. But that's why the African language is good. To what carry out. When that one is still happening, then people come up with new ideas. The idea is, we Africans are always kulambara, always asleep, okwebaka, nino mate. Somebody came from London and woke up our people, say, you people, you only know of eggs which are eaten only as omelette or as boiled. But you don't know that you can get other things out of eggs. If the ones who are making omelette are no longer buying, crack the egg, get the yolk out, process it, get the other part, what they call the white part of the egg, get some products out of it. Now, apparently, the yolk, a part of it is used for bakery. And we have been importing those from outside. We have our yolk here, Toro, but we import the processed yolk of others to do the baking. Apparently, they use eggs in baking. I don't know how they do it, but that's what I was told. And that has been being imported. They have been importing it. I hear there's something called mayonnaise. I don't know what mayonnaise is. That it is something, but it has got some yolk in it, and they have been importing it. And now they can make it here. Then there is that the shell of the egg itself has got food values. It has got calcium, it has got this, it can be used, I don't know what here. So there are ways, alternative, and that the demand is not small for this one. Now you go to milk. You remember I had a problem for liquid milk, because Kenya had quite a bit of milk, they had a surplus. But the casein in the US, the protein they get from milk, apparently the demand is very big, and it has helped us. And the powdered milk also is in high demand in some parts of the world. So therefore, while the tourism has gone down in these other sectors, manufacturing can come up. We are going to make personal protective equipment for the coronavirus, the clothes, the wear, make the medicines, make the diagnostic for the corona and other viruses, make the vaccines, the sanitizers. So there are really ways we just need to adjust. We need to adjust. We shall manage. And I was looking at the economy. Our economy grew fastest in 1994. That's when it grew at 11%. If you go back in the figures, we have never had a higher figure than that one per year. It grew by 11%. And I checked, what was the tourism in 1994? The tourists were only 147,000. So the tourism was not a major factor. And yet the economy was growing very fast. That time, actually, we sort of decelerated because of the delay of Bujagari. When there was insufficient power, that's when our economy started growing at slower rates. But in those years, it was growing at 11%, 10%, 8%, 9%. So the economy will grow even if tourism is still down. I prepared a document which I showed to the cabinet, what I entitled the real economy versus the vulnerable economy. The real economy is the economy for producing food, for producing clothing, for producing shelter, building materials, for producing medicine, for producing security equipment. This is the real economy, and for infrastructure. This one does not easily change. Even if there is a war, these things will be in demand. In fact, if there is a war, these are even more in demand than even in ordinary times. Certain sectors are vulnerable, like tourism. It's vulnerable and very sensitive. When anything happens, it goes down. But it will come back. If you handle the other side well, eventually it will come back. Now, unfortunately, during this, as I've said, I'm very, very thankful to the Ugandans. They have responded well in a combative mood to fight and defeat the virus. But we were sort of diverted by the 20 million shillings of the parliament. That really caused confusion and controversy. First of all, that 20 million is bad planning, because we had planned in a certain way, then you come and change. That's not good. That's not a good way. But secondly, there are also legal and constitutional issues involved in that issue, which I don't want to go into here, because those ones I have been discussing them with the Speaker and with the other people. I don't have to go into those here. But the third one is the moral side. It would be morally reprehensible for members of parliament to give themselves money for personal use when the country is in such a crisis. It would be morally reprehensible and totally unacceptable to me and to the national resistance movement. So when this one came, I met the Speaker here, and I said, you people, you have entered yourselves into a trap. You should get out. And the best way to get out of the trap was not spend that money on yourselves. Should not be spent on yourselves. Not as an allowance for you, not. So I agreed with the Speaker, take that money, or because now you've already got involved, and donate it to the district task force where you come from. Because the MPs also had some issue because of the unprincipled way people do things in Uganda. Apparently there are some other politicians, local politicians, who want to compete with our present MPs, and therefore they try sometimes to marginalize them. But I told the Prime Minister was there, you can order the district task force to ensure that the MPs are also members of the district task force, so that they take part in the decision making, so that they also contribute. So once they are members, you can contribute ideas to the district task force for the corona, so that you also play a role. Therefore, take the money there, go and give it to the cow, because the accounting officers in the country are known. It is the permanent secretary, it is the district, the cow, it is the town clerk, it is the Gombora chief. In Parliament there is a clerk, she's also an accounting officer for Parliament money. So you take the money there. If you take the money there, it will limit the damage. It will limit the damage. People will know that you didn't take the money for yourself. Now I heard that some of the MPs went and now bought things. Now that's not good enough, because you are not a purchasing officer of the state. The state, the Constitution of Uganda has got purchasers, people who buy things. I've been in the State House here for 34 years. I have never bought even a toilet roll here that I have bought. I've never bought. It's not my job to buy. There's a buying person, I don't know who it is, controlled by the State House controller. So I know many Ugandans are angry with this, but I appeal to you, don't be angry. This will be sorted out. Because I told the Right Honourable Speaker how to handle this. For those who took the money and gave it to the cow, to the district task force, the issue there is simply that the one of bad planning, interfering with the planning. That one is we can explain to our Ugandans. Now the ones who bought on their own, the question is who authorized you to buy for the country, for the state? This is public money, it's not your private money. Who authorized you? Are you the purchasing officer? So I think here the Auditor General will have to come in and audit, to say you bought badly or you bought well, so that we clear this. And I appeal to Ugandans, don't be so angry and be diverted from our war. Because the MPs have already spent the money. No, even if you have spent it, you can pay it back. You can pay it back because you have your salary. You would pay it back if you spent it wrongly. So I think the way to clear up this mess is to, those who took the money and gave it to the task force at the district, I think that one day we can appeal to the Ugandans, please forget about this. They gave the money to the district. They didn't spend it on, because the bad thing is to spend it on yourself. This is the terrible, terrible, terrible thing. to spend the money on yourself. This is not acceptable. We cannot have a society like that. Now, the ones who become purchasing officers, that one they will have to sort it out with the Auditor General. You bought, what did you buy, how much, what quality was it, what procedures did you follow? Did you follow is it what PPDM or? That one I don't know. But then also the problem of interfering, because when you go to, there are some who went to distribute food now. We are in an emergency. You go to distribute, how did you distribute? Did you not contribute to the spread of the virus? If people, did you have a machinery to distribute in a safe way? Because distribution, which is done by the group in Kampala and the group in the districts, is controlled by the district health officer, by the doctor. They are the ones who say, do this, do this, do this, do this. So when you are distributing, under what structure were you using? Are you interfering with our regulations of fighting the disease? It's very, very serious. These are very serious issues. And the political leaders should be examples. Should not be people to be preached at. But I hope we shall sort it. The other day when I was going to Jinja, I couldn't stop on the way. People were stopping me. I said, no, I can't stop. Because I don't want to stop. And people gather. And somebody gets infected because of me wanting to bask in their being appreciated by the people. It is criminal. So I think we can sort that one out. But I appeal to the Ugandans not to be diverted by this. Be united as you have been united. This is easy to solve. The one who took the money to the district task force, I would appeal to you to forgive that one and say that one at least didn't spend the money on himself. The one who spent it on himself must be condemned. The one who became a purchasing officer must sort out issues with the Auditor General. Auditor General will have to come and audit how you purchased. I will write to the Auditor General, please come and help me here. See how this will purchase. Did they purchase properly or what? The one who is interfering with the war against the virus by mixing with the population, contrary to the regulations, I think there we can really warn them. This should be the last time. Because that's why the other fellow called Zaki had been arrested. How do you arrest Zaki for interfering with the safety, the anti-coronavirus wars, and you leave these ones of the NRM, including ministers. So this one we shall have to learn from this bad experience. I want to thank the medical workers of Uganda. Out of the 79 cases, as I speak today, 47 have been discharged. Discharged means they have been healed and they have gone home. They have gone home, and I'm told even the ones who are still in custody, they are in good condition. I've not heard that any one of them is in a very bad condition. So I must thank our health workers. They are really very skilled, knowledgeable. Sometimes I speak to them on the phone. They are leaders. They are really very capable people. I'm very proud of them. And I congratulate them. I want to thank the press. The press, they said, I heard them saying that Museveni doesn't thank us. Oh, they are called media. Okay. I want to thank the media. They have done a good job recently. So I thank them for their contribution also. Now in the book of Genesis, chapter 18, verse 133, there's a time when Abraham looked up and saw three men standing nearby. When he saw them, he hurried from the entrance of his tent to meet them and bowed low on the ground. And he said, so these strangers, when Abraham saw them, he welcomed them. He didn't know them. He welcomed them. This is in the book of Genesis. He welcomed them and entertained them and fed them. He didn't know that they were angels. And because he handled them well, he got blessed. That's when his wife Sarah, who had failed to have children, was able to have Isaac. So even those Banyankwere said, the one who entertained the angels without knowing them, without knowing that they were angels. So this is what NRM does. NRM works because we work for our country. We don't calculate that we are doing this in order to get that. No, we work because this is good for the country. As I told you last time, we have defeated 3 concurrent big crises. There's this one of the corona we are talking about, and we have seen how our doctors have responded, and the country has responded, including our structure of the LCs. This structure, we didn't create it for corona. We didn't even know that corona will be there. We created it in order to empower the people. But when the crisis comes, the LCs come up and they defend the country. How would we have known a Murundi who had appeared, I don't know where, in Nachivari there, someplace. Ministers of Health were not there. They wouldn't know. But the people, because of the structure, which was put there for the power of the people, were there. This water of the lake. The other day, the lake got at 13.28 meters above sea level. Even today, when you go to Entebbe there, the water is almost entering the road at Kituru. The trees which used to be on shore are now in the water there. So this water could have been a problem, as it was in 1964. But because the NRM had built a second dam without planning that for the floods, for the water, because we wanted to generate more power. When we came, there was only the Narubari Dam, this side, the one on the Buganda side. We built a new one on the Busoga side, we called it Chiira, and created another canal there. Now, apparently in 1964, why the flood was able to destroy things was that through the old dam, you could only release 1,300 cubic meters per second of water. But now, because of the other additional capacity, instead of allowing 600 cubic meters per second, which is what they were allowing before this crisis came, by yesterday morning, I think they had gone to 2,400 cubic meters per second. And yet the water is rising. So you can imagine if we did not have that capacity, which we did not plan, which we planned for a totally different purpose, all these showers will be flooded now. So the one who entertained the angels without knowing them, the one who did things without knowing that it would. Then the locusts. The locusts have caused so much mayhem in parts of Africa. They come here. We wait for the small plane of the desert. Locust doesn't come. The army moves in. And we defeat the locusts. So I really want to congratulate the NRM leaders, the historical leaders, the current leaders, for working for their country as they see fit at any given moment, but it produces results even for things you have not foreseen. What helped when the dam was attacked by the floating island, the wonderful equipment we bought from Japan came in and cleared the floating island. We didn't hire, we didn't the equipment was there. We didn't buy it to clear the floating island. We bought to work on the road, but it is there in the country. The capacity is there. And I must also, when I look at the medical, when you see the engineers, you see the medical people, you see the scientists, like the ones who are doing the research now for this disease. I can also not fail to thank some of my allies. There's one ally called UPC. Because although we had differences with them, and we had all sorts of issues we had to sort out, but I must bear witness that when you see all these educated Ugandans, our UPC comrades also played something. Because when we got independence, like by the time I went to Ntare in 1961, out of 40 teachers, there were only 2 Africans in the secondary school. Only 2. I remember their names. Everybody was white. In the hospital, everybody was white. It was only Dr. Mzela, the first African whom I saw there as a doctor. For engineers, for what? So, but when we got independence, first of all, they expanded the secondary schools. Like if I talk about the Ankole region alone, Mbara High School became a secondary school. Bwerenyanji Girls became a secondary school. Chitunga became a secondary school. These are the ones I know well in my head. by 1965 they had increased. Those Chewambe became a secondary school. These were normally junior secondary, but they put them forward. Merehir became a secondary school. So they expanded secondary education, not as much as we have done, but they also did their contribution. So therefore, we were building capacity, but this capacity comes in. I can tell you these three problems: the corona, the water of Lake Victoria, the locusts. If we did not have this organic capacity, they could have been a very big problem. So that's why really I want to congratulate everybody who contributed. Now, among my assignments, I am assigned by the East African Summit to sensitize East Africans about the need for the East African Federation. The need for the East African Federation. I was given this assignment in Arusha last time, and the summit appointed a committee to draft a constitutional proposal headed by our former Chief Justice Benjamin Odoki, with all the members from all the other states. And when I was looking at this coronavirus and the way we are struggling with the drivers, with this one, even with the water itself, because the water is also East African. It's not really Ugandan. This water you see here is very East African. So and when we try to manage it only as Ugandan, then we get into all sorts of problems. The desert locusts are also East African. So the problems are East African, but we are trying to manage them as Ugandan when they are not really just Ugandan. So when I remembered, I said, now, if I get a chance to go to the TV again, because the TV are always showing nothing. They're always showing people who are jumping, sitting down. So I said, why don't I, this is, you have to take this picture. This is the Uganda August of November. Of November 1964. This is the paper of 1964. This is the summit. Mzee Obote, the rebel leader from Congo, Christopher Gebei, Mzee Kenyatta, and Nyerere, Mwalimu Nyerere. They are talking about the East African Federation. And I would like to, but you should get me another copy. This is a later copy. This is the one of earlier, the one of 1963. You should get it for me. So if the federation had succeeded that time, East Africa now would be, I suspect, would be where India is today. If you see where India today, I think East Africa will be where India is today. If you look at the avoidable problems, because if the East African Federation had been formed at that time, Idi Amin would never have come to power. East Africa would not have allowed it. The massacres of Burundi would never have happened because East Africa would not allow it. If we are together, we are very strong. The problems of Congo would never have gone on the way it was, because you can see Gibenyi was also here. And East Africa would have helped in that issue of Congo. The issue of South Sudan would not have taken the time it took. The problem of Rwanda, the genocide which took place there, would never have happened. And even today, as we are managing these crises, locusts, water, virus, it will be much easier to manage them in a consolidated way. So, in my job as a champion for the East African Federation, I thought I should use this occasion to remind the Bazukuru, who are always talking about California, about Miami, that there is a Miami Beach. Have you heard of Miami Beach? Which is being flooded by water. I saw it in the paper. They're always after everybody except themselves. So, the Bazukuru, please, you have got a job to do, to work with your other East Africans, to see whether you can unite yourselves, so that it is easy. Because you see, we are now stuck. What God has put together, man should not put asunder. God is the one who said East Africa is one. The bedroom is Uganda, the sitting room is Kenya, the other sitting room is Tanzania, the other big bedroom is Congo, the inner room is South Sudan. How will you get to the gate without going through? This is where the problem you are having now. How do you manage a house of 5, 6 rooms or 7 rooms, each room separately? Because they are linked. To go from here to there, you must, what do you do? Why don't you find a way of how you manage this house together as a unit? Because if you say, because now we have swept Corona from here now, from the bedroom, we have swept, I think we have swept somehow. But from the sitting room, from the sitting room, so what are we going to do? This is what Mariam was telling us, that please, in order for you people to be strong, you should unite. When Mariam told our people, they thought, oh, Mariam wanted to be president of East Africa. That's why he's campaigning for it. Well, Mariam is long dead. These Banyarwanda Barundi have an interest in these Bantu languages, have interest in words. Apparently, the one who dies, they say, Nyakwigendera, Nyakwigendera, the one who went his own ways. That's what they call the late. They call him Nyakwigendera, the one who went away. So Mwalimu told you, you didn't listen, he went his way. He's resting in peace, and people are thinking, we are debating, the Pope is seeing how to make him a saint. You are now the ones fighting with the coronavirus now, in your fragmented way. We are the ones struggling with the problems. Mariam talked, you didn't listen to him, you thought he wanted, I don't know what, he went away. you are the ones who are inheriting these problems. Now, this lockdown apparently is making the families stay together, which are normally never together. You have not been seeing one another with your with your dear husband and dear wife and dear this, but now Baba Sivide Wamu. You are now tied together. And I'm told that actually there's some problems, some fights, some of the groups are fighting because they have been avoiding one another all this time. So, but I would really like to, one day I will get time and talk more about it. Really, you cannot have a country without families. Families are the building block of countries. And having strong families is part of building a strong country. So of course, we need a big discussion with the traditional groups and the religious leaders. But there could be some minimums which could be distilled in those discussions when we have the time. One of the crucial things about the family are the children. Whatever issues you have among the adults, they should never affect the children. If the children are sheltered, they are protected, then you will have a strong family. But I think through dialogue, we should also get a minimum about the relationship among the adults themselves. Because the frictions and so on are due to the way issues are managed. Because traditionally, there were clear do's and don'ts in the traditional families. Now, things are not so clear. They are a bit vague. They say love one another, love this. It's vague. We shall get time and talk about that. But I hear this is quite a challenge. We shall get time and talk about that. That when you are now together, there are quite a bit of fights. Actually, there is some talk that if you don't lift this lockdown, you may get some pressure cooker. People who cannot stomach one another. So really, we need to also debate that issue of the families, Now, before the 5th of May, I will come with a comprehensive plan for the way forward. What I was telling you here today are simply the simple information about the where we are now. I think the figures they were looking for me, which they have brought now, like if you take yesterday, 27th, truck drivers who were tested from the border points, were 2,557. And there was no one who was positive, and the negative were 2,238. But this does not cover everybody. It means some of the results have not yet come out. Huh?
Those are the quarantine and community who were tested were 200?
No. The 2,557, then the negative are 2,238. There's a balance there which is not clear. But there was nobody who was positive. That was yesterday. Now, among the Ugandans, since the 23rd, we have not had anybody who is positive. 23rd, it was 0. 24th, it was 0. 25th, it was 0. 26th, it was 0. 27th, it was 0, which was yesterday. And the whole of this week actually, starting 14th, for the Ugandans, starting with 14th, it was 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. We had 1 on the 20th, a Ugandan, within the Ugandans. We had 1 on the 20th, then 0, 21st, and then we had 1 on the 22nd. Otherwise, for almost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. For 14 days, we have had only positive 2 times. So that's very interesting. This is for the Ugandans. But for the drivers, the ones who are coming, we have been having, the biggest we had was on 23rd, which was 11 at one go. Otherwise, we had 0 yesterday, 4 26th, 0 25th, then 1 1, then that is the situation. So if one looks at this, one would be tempted to say that the imported cases and the people they interacted with, well, these are the ones we are dealing with mainly. The one they interacted with who are called contacts, it seems that we don't have the positive ones. And then the others are what the health people call alert. Alert are the ones who feel concerned and they volunteer. You come and check me. All these are negative as far as the Ugandans are concerned. So that's what I was telling you, that the front line is now with the truck drivers, really. This is the real front line. I thank you and I wish you good luck. The questions? Or donations? Okay. Well, come and show me the donations, Nani. Oh, they are here. Oh, I want to thank the donors. His Highness Chabazinga of Busoga brought 85 million. His Highness the Mkama of Toro brought maize flour 21 tons, beans 14 tons, matoke worth 8.8 million, cassava worth 2 million, charcoal worth 700,000 shillings. Kamswaga of Kochi, matoke 630 bunches worth 15 million, and sanitary to Rakai district. Gilbert Bukenya, our former vice president, 4 tons of maize. Honorable Anita Mong, again, she had contributed before, 5 tons of rice. Democratic Party, my old party, before we were cheated by the Rugundas. That's why I laugh when I hear them saying DP without Museveni. So my old party, the Democratic Party, 5 tons of maize flour. Uganda heads of missions abroad, female ones, abachara, ambassadors. 6 tons of Chibimba rice, Ambassador Mission Madvani, 1.8 million shillings, EcoBank, 80 million shillings, Isuzu Mark East Africa, 80 million shillings, Bidco Uganda Limited, 70 million shillings, and soap 4,292 cartons, Lusango Rio, Uganda, 20 million shillings. Katweni Import and Export Company, Katweni. 12 million shillings. OC International Trading, 10 million shillings. Kalung Processors, 10 million shillings. East African Fish Processing Uganda, 7 million shillings. Rongzang, Uganda Limited, 7 million shillings. Pengilida International Limited, 6 million shillings. Ryan FA Company Limited, 6 million shillings. Yongkiang Seafood, 6 million shillings. Hongli Zhongguo, 6 million shillings. Shengfat Trading, 6 million shillings. Wish AST, 6 million shillings. Compassion International, 1.2 billion shillings as assistance to partner churches across the country. TriStar Energy, 380 million shillings. Mbaro University of Science and Technology, 234 million shillings. Support from Mbaro Regional Hospital, very clever. So you keep it in house. Sanlam, 285 million shillings. Ben Lukuyu International, 17 Livestock Research Institute, 190 million shillings. Standard Chartered Bank, 113 million shillings. natio, 100 million shillings. Bed sheets, 1,000 pairs. Face masks, 1,000 pieces. Pearl Marina Estates, 100 million shillings. Bakuresa Grain Milling. This is a group based in Tanzania, but they are also operating here. 100 million shillings, and baking flour, 2.4 tons. Trade Property Development, 76 million shillings. Bidco Uganda, 70 million shillings. Our Khan Development Network, Jubilee, 55 million shillings, and face masks, 1,000. Medicine, 44 cartons. Ugakov, 50 million shillings. China International Water, 50 million shillings. Uganda Forex Bureau and Money Remittance Association, 20 million shillings. Uganda Cooperative Alliance, 20 million shillings. Rock Telecom, 20 million shillings. Saba Engineering something, 20 million shillings. Philip Kakuru, NRM Mobilizer South Africa, 20 million shillings. Gulf Africa, 15 million shillings. Galaxy Agrotech, 15 million shillings. Max Imports and Exports Limited, 10 million shillings.